Right, 14 December 2021, and today I've got two guests, two of my regular guests, Senator Khaliphani Phugeni and Dr. Thaddeus Mteneri. How are you, Senator? How are you, Doctor? Two guests,
I'm okay.
two of my regular guests, Senator Khaliphani Phugeni and Dr. Thaddeus Mteneri. How are you, Senator? How are you, Doctor? Two guests,
okay.
two of my regular guests, Senator Khaliphani Phugeni and Dr. Thaddeus Mteneri. How are you, Senator? I don't know what's happening. Let me get one of my guests out, and then we will have one. Right, Senator, how are you?
I'm okay. How are you?
Okay, so I don't know. Maybe Dr. Mteneri was having some challenges with his sound there. So let's give him a chance to fix while we talk.
Okay.
And it's not a nice topic that I'm talking about today.
Okay.
It's a very, very sad situation that is developing in the MDC-T. I think you agree with me.
Well, first of all, I would like to greet you. It was very nice of you to bring the talk because you appeared first before you, and I was surprised. How come this Zimbabwe today looks all refined and nice and good looking? But anyway, it's awesome to meet the talk finally. And I think it's important that I apologize to our people. I couldn't make it on Saturday. Meet the talk finally, and so I couldn't make it on Saturday. The people's team was playing, and Fana was a bit worried. He sent me an SOS saying, "Daddy, what if my team loses?" And no, when it comes to Fana, you know, the whole world stops. So I got very worried, and I then got caught up in that whole situation, and our time passed, and I realized later. So I'm very, very sorry to our people. A lot of them thought, no, I'm fine. I'm very, very fine and in high spirits.
Okay, Senator.
Yeah. On your question that you asked, of course, it's always a sad development, especially for the people of Zimbabwe, because they expect us to know better. They expect us to put their interests first. They expect us to come to the manhood of politics and mature and begin to realize that we don't necessarily need to love or like each other. We've got a job to do, and we must do that job in the interest of the people of Zimbabwe and execute it and put aside our personal differences and egos and all those things.
Okay. Senator, let's go straight to the key issues.
Yeah.
Why was Dr. Kope unable to get the resolutions of the of the National Council of the 26th of November?
Okay, all right. Let me put this other important disclaimer. I'm not here representing Dr. Kope. I'm here just to comment like any other Zimbabwean. Dr. Kope has appointed a fine, fine young man by Ntando Ndlovu. I think you'd like to bring him in your show one of these days. Very, very fine young man. He's doing a brilliant job, and so he will be more than capable to articulate most of these issues. Suffice to say, I have read the court papers, and I have listened to different interviews which Ntando has given. It's not about accessing the minutes, so to speak, as I'm reading. As you know, when I read the papers, it will seem as if you read the papers, the meeting degenerated, and then there was some howling, and then some people who then threatened that certain people must be recalled. And then the papers go ahead to say that there's some clandestine letter which has been written almost to ambush certain people. And it will seem as if certain people have already been recalled without being made aware ahead of time and given due process and given fair administrative justice. I'm just narrating what I read from the papers.
Okay, but is it not only fair for this to continue? Because yourself and Dr. Khupe are sitting in oppositions because of recalls, which happened in exactly the same circumstances. Why is it a problem now?
No, it didn't happen through the same circumstances. It's a disappointing observation on your part. As a journalist, you should be able to look at things and then assist the general public. The recalls happened emanating from the Supreme Court judgment. And after the Supreme Court judgment, you had our Eastwell comrades saying that the judgment is a dud, nothing will happen, they no longer belong to the MDC-T, and so it was after a public pronouncement of having left the part which had sponsored them to Parliament, which is not, if you are talking about me and Dr. Khupe, which is not the case. At least on my part, I know, and even on her part, I know that that is not the case.
Okay, but they were not given a chance to answer for themselves. They were not brought before any committee or any hearing before they were kicked out.
No, they did not recognize. Remember, they were clear that they don't recognize the structure. So let me give you an example, Kambako. If you were to say, when you want to discipline me, it's a nullity. I don't recognize you having any sort of authority over me, which was the case. So how do you move from there? But remember those who then subjected themselves and said, no, we actually recognize this structure. They are in the party even today, and they are still in Parliament even today. So it was a situation of people voluntarily leaving the organization which sponsored them into Parliament.
Okay. Now let's go to, there are two court cases. There's one which was lodged, the application for obtaining the resolutions. If she was to get the resolutions today, would she drop that case?
No, but remember, I will remind you again. I would give you Ntando's numbers. In fact, let me do it now. I'll give you Ntando's numbers. He will be able to pronounce as far as Dr. Khupe is concerned. On my part, I'm just commenting like any other person, trying to give you the leaky information which I have. And I think it will be fair to Ntando himself to be given a chance, to not someone like me to rule from the grave. He's doing a fine job. So give him that exposure, and then you will be able to get information, authorized information. I may know certain information because of my proximity to the Honorable Dr. Khupe, but I don't think that information is for me to then disseminate it.
Okay. I want to, the reason why I'm asking you is, I want to play for you. I asked for those resolutions from everyone in the MDC-T. And this is how I was answered. This was 2 weeks ago. I even asked yourself for these resolutions. So I want to give you an answer that I got from Witness Dube at that time. And then I'll ask you my next question after that.
Pardon, there is nothing to hide, Panap. The resolutions are public knowledge, but for you to get a proper framing of the resolutions from the National Council, it is the Office of the Secretary General which gives out those resolutions. Mina, as spokesperson, I may give a preference or priority to some resolutions, which is what I'll then put out. But the complete document comes from the Secretary General's office, and most of the times I don't look for it because, as spokesperson, there are major issues, what I think are major issues that are of public interest. This is what you see in my statements, you see. So,
right. So, Senator, you saw Witness there. He's saying the resolutions are there. There's nothing to hide. Is it normal for you as a member of the National Council not to get the resolutions, or Dr. Khupe?
Yeah, look, I'll repeat again, because I'm just here as an individual. So I don't want to enter into the terrain of starting to do other people's jobs. I really don't want to do that. You were told very clear that it's a public document. There is nothing to hide. You should be easy to get it. Now you are saying it's over 2 weeks. So I'm sure you can make your own conclusions. I have never taken interest, to answer you directly, I've never taken interest to go after certain resolutions. I think reading from what Dr. Kope wrote there, I think reading from there, she wants to substantiate that there is a clandestine operation or clandestine recalls of people, which is outside what would have been discussed and what would have been the resolution. And again, I am deducing this from the court filing, the papers that we saw flying all over yesterday. So I really have never bothered myself looking for any resolutions in the past. I didn't even see the need to look for the resolutions. I take a different posture, Kambakwe, when it comes to these things. I take a complete different posture. I am privileged to have served the people of Zimbabwe up to now. And what then happens, we leave it in God's hands. It is service. It is not employment. It is service. So once you begin to look at things that way, then you realize that the posture is different. And I have read a lot and heard a lot of people, and I think you're alluding to it, as if Dr. Khupe needs some sympathy. She doesn't need anyone's sympathy, I must say. I think she does appreciate those that have reached out to her, but there is this feeling that she's in a corner. She's not in any corner. She's a PhD, for crying out loud. So you must know that whatever decision she makes, she would have counted the cost and then reconciled with it and actually accepted the cost. So she's not in any... she's not in a pity party. No, she knows what she's doing, and people may not agree with it. People may feel aggrieved, but I think she is a person of high character. You know, I want to read you something which was sent to me. I think this person just felt that it's important that I get this. I had not seen it myself, so it's Honorable Temba Mulisa. Honorable says, it's in his tweet. He says, I have always, underline that word, I have always respected Dr. Thokozani Khupe. She remains grounded and is full of dignity. She has the capacity to lead, and where things proper, these are the kind of leaders we would expect to be in government after the 20,000 or after the 2017. So, well, you can read right to the end. So I'm just saying, you are not talking of a chancer here. You are talking of someone who has earned the admiration of many people in this country. And Honorable Mlisa makes it clear why. He says she's grounded and has always acted with dignity. So, no, I just thought it's important that I put that across, because I've seen other people who are trying to gain attention and get names for themselves, trying to put a narrative out there that Dr. Khupe is in some corner. That's not the impression I get every day I speak to her.
Okay. I don't think that people think she's in a corner. What the reporting says from yesterday's newspapers is that Dr. Khupe has been secretly negotiating with MDC Alliance President Nelson Chamisa through Charlton Wende and directly through phone calls. Have you seen that reporting?
Let me help you. I can tell you, not even having wasted my time to look at that reporting, there was no evidence put forward. Zero whatsoever. They just put a claim out there, And then Dr. Khupe now has the burden, you know, to basically push back against that claim. Even you here, you don't even make an effort to say, what do you have to support, to substantiate this claim? No, it's not there at all. Let me tell you something about the state, by the way, Kambako. The state knows everything. Everything. There's nothing that the state doesn't know. So I can tell you that if there was anything of such, anything that serious, if indeed the state is worried about NC, like people say, this touted union between the two of them, you would have been having proper evidence given forward, because the state would have leaked that evidence to these reporters. But you don't have such, because it's fiction. There is no such. There is nothing.
Okay, but when they confirmed it, they didn't name him, but he did confirm it in that article from Zimlai.
You confirmed what?
That there's discussions taking place. The lines are very busy between the two parties, and that Dr. Kope has spoken to Chamisa on the phone at least 2 times.
Well, I don't know. I have not been told of such by Dr. Khupe. Maybe Ntando would know that, but I read his reporting, or rather his interview. He was very clear that not only has she not spoken to the said parties, but she has not spoken to anyone outside the MDC-T with regards to reunification or anything of such. Now, Honorable Monzora would normally say, when people want to kill a dog, they claim that it's got rabies. So it's very easy to say there is this and there's no evidence whatsoever. Produce the evidence and say, here, based on this, like I'm saying, the previous recalls were based on people's public stated statements that we don't recognize the Supreme Court judgment, we don't recognize the MDC-T leadership, we have ceased to be members of that party, we now have a new party. That's evidence. But to wake up and somehow feel uncomfortable or threatened by an individual for whatever reason, and then you wake up in the morning and say there is this and that happening. Because remember what Ntando says in his many press briefings that he has given. He says if you are looking for people who are working with the alliance, they are there. They have stated publicly. And he gives their names. And he says, how come nothing is happening? Why are you going after? Let me give you an example. He states that the mayor of Kweru was at our EOC. He was there. And I'm also reliably told that at some stage they were having meetings, and he opened or he provided a venue for them to have a meeting. He was committed somewhere. I think there was a funeral that he was attending. So I'm just trying to push back against these malicious so-called media reports that are running around. If you are genuinely looking for people who are working with the alliance, they are there, they make public statements, we can give you the videos, we can give you platforms where they're addressing on behalf of MTC Alliance, then you can act on them. But to want us to believe that because so and so is not waking up in the morning and seemingly practicing the politics of adulation towards certain people, then you must target them and give an excuse why the target is justified. It's just not right.
Okay, what if because tomorrow there's the standing committee, right, of the MDC-T. What if the resolutions are produced and there's no one being recalled? What happens then?
But why are you asking me?
No, I'm asking you because you are one of the people, isn't it, on the list of recalls?
Well, I don't know that, Kambakwe. Like I've told you before, even in this platform, I've told you privately. I think you know my posture towards this. No human being is in charge of my destiny. So I do not want to worry a single second because of what some human being wants to do somewhere. So no, disabuse yourself of that thing to think that Phugeni is worried that someone may just do something about it. No, not at all. I refuse to give a human being that power over me. Only my Father in heaven is in charge of me and my destiny. I'm not worried about anything. I'm not looking for any list whatsoever. So I've told you this in private. I've told you here over and over again. I have a Father in heaven. A cake in 1,000 hills are his. So why want to reduce me to a level where I'm worried about what someone can do? I'm not worried about that. So whatever will be produced, I never demanded anything.
Okay, then let me go to the really important question. You seem to align with the MDC Alliance. I've never heard you talking anything different. The language you use, your values, your beliefs, they align with the MDC Alliance. Why don't you just leave the party where you're not wanted and go to the MDC Alliance?
Can you please tell me from an ideology point of view, what is the difference between the MDC Alliance and the MDC-T? Because as far as I know, when it comes to the values, character, nature, principles, it's the same. It's the same as from 1999.
No, it's not the same, Senator. Let me explain to you. The MDC Alliance of Chamisa, they are totally different from the MDC-T of Douglas Monzora. Douglas Monzora believes in negotiating with ZANU-PF. He believes in engagement. Whereas Chamisa does not recognize the current president of Zimbabwe. He believes that there must be a national transitional authority. You know all those things that are different about MDC-T and MDC Alliance. And they believe that...
I'm hated today, mostly by my Eastwell comrades, for calling the president of the country His Excellence, which is what his office demands. So I don't know what you're talking about. I am one person who's not hostile at all. You are talking to a former spokesperson of Poland. You are talking to a former spokesperson of Poland. Now, so I don't know what you're talking about when you are saying, I don't believe in dialogue, I don't believe in negotiations. I don't know what you're talking about.
You support many of the positions of the MDC Alliance. When there was violence against Chamisa, you spoke up against it. And the party of Monzora never spoke anything. When you were in Machiavelli, you were arrested recently. And you were very unhappy about the approach of the police.
I was
abducted. You were abducted. So let's agree that if there was a center, you are not at the center. You are leaning more towards the Chamisa than the Monzora. And you are staying there. I don't understand why you stay there.
No, you are missing the point. When Honorable Monzora was being arrested, before there was even a split or whatever, I was in the forefront agitating against that. When Honorable Yvonne Sarura was arrested, I even went on national television in South Africa, and I made a big noise about it. So I don't know what you are talking about. Now, you have a situation where a citizen of this country is denied his constitutional right to free movement. Not only free movement. I told you he's a father, he's a husband. The families don't deserve that. 3 weeks ago, you had one of your colleagues, Blessed Mhlang. The police abused him to an extent that he almost lost his teeth. Now, he has children the age of Fana. And I know how Fana feels when all of these things happen to some of us. So I'm thinking of those girls and those boys that Blessed is a father to. I think of his wife. I spoke to your wife after the minister made the statement that you are one of those rogue elements they have to deal with. She was terrified. And she said, he is the only man I have in my life. I mean, she is the only thing I have in my life. Now, you must understand that it's the same with NC as well. The wife feels the same about it. It's the same thing with Blessed. We have families that have nothing to do with our jobs. Now, we can differ in the way how we do our jobs. But once we start to do things that involve families and whatsoever, it creates it creates wounds that are difficult to heal. And I will never be part of anyone that abuses anyone. I will never be part of that. At
Yeah, but
whatever
you are part of you are part of someone that abuses someone. Mashumba was beaten up in front of your eyes, and you insist on staying in the party that beat up Mashumba in public.
No, 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 no. I was here. I denounced that right here in your show. I denounced it, and I stood in solidarity with Mashumba. Now, solution is not always to walk away, especially if you are not happy with what certain individuals are doing. If you are saying the constitution of the MDC-T has been changed, I would understand. The constitution has not changed. The constitution speaks about non-rationally, non-violence, non-sexism, non-tribalism, non-what. It speaks about all of those good things. And I believe in that. Now, you may have individuals that may abuse positions and whatsoever, but individuals come and go. Unless and until the party changes its constitution, then I would leave. But the party has not changed its constitution. I don't know why you are so hell-bent on donating me to a party that I don't belong to and basically remove me from my party that I belong to.
Okay, I want to give Dr. Mteneri a chance to speak because everyone is complaining that I'm letting him not speak. So, Dr. Mteneri, good evening, and I'm sorry for me and
a good doctor here. We want to hear good things.
Yeah, let's give him a chance to talk. Doctor, I'm gonna remove you from mute. What is it that you can say to Senator Khaliphani Phugeni, given the current situation? The relationship is certainly broken down. Don't you agree?
Obviously, I have to start with an introduction. You have kept me so mute for a long time. Firstly, to Senator Phugeni, I'm actually honored to have you this evening talking to you, and I actually enjoy the way you talk. And to you, Gambakwe, you have kept me for almost half an hour here, but I will have to say, obviously, we needed to hear from the horse's mouth because Senator Phugeni would normally know that he speaks on behalf of Dr. Kope. So you asked me, what do I think? I think Senator Phugeni, the way he's answering is he's a politician. I'm not, and like I've always said, I like the way he answers questions. But listen, in politics, I always have said, and in our previous interview, I've always told you that in politics, there are no permanent friends, no permanent enemies, but permanent interests. These people we are talking about, Dr. Khupe. She has worked with Morgan Tsvangirai, and by extension, Nelson Chamisa. The same with Senator Phugeni. He has worked with these people, and these are people we have worked together. And in politics, ructions happen. There's implosion of some sort, such as we saw in 2014 after the death of President Morgan Tsvangirai, that differences arose, and we saw everything that built up to where we are today, even with how the MDC-T, as we know it today, was set up, and the MDC alliance. We knew that these were people who were once together, but obviously they had to position themselves according to how they perceived political power would shift, if one would say, or how I would also say according to how they viewed the reality at that point. But you cannot rule out that these are people who can work together, or who can again in their various factions implode again and find themselves in other ends. So when we talk about the recall of Dr. Khupe, which now is going to play out in court, it was something that people would have expected, because even the reconstitution of the MDC-T with Douglas Monzora at the helm, you would see that it was actually a gathering of convenience. I say this from an analysis point of view. Senator Phugeni, please don't take offense. It was a gathering of convenience. Mudzuri talk about Komichi, talk about Dr. Monzora. These are people who had nothing in common at all. Even from their public statements, you could see that these were people with totally different views. And the semblance of unity they brought out of the EOC that we saw of the 27th December, that was last year, isn't it? It was, you could see that it was a convenience kind of gathering. And what is happening now, we expected it. So I would say it is the beginning of an implosion. And Senator Phugeni, I want to give him a kudos, because obviously as a politician, he cannot take the cat out of the bag before it's time. And I think these are things which will play out with time. But from an analysis point of view, this is actually the roadmap to the implosion of the MDC-T as we go to 2023. And it is going to show that, as I have always said, that the MDC alliance has always been, the hub or the core of the real opposition in Zimbabwe. And I would actually say it is actually a good thing to see Dr. Khupe. If she has been talking to the MDC alliance, it would be a good thing to see that. Except that we would expect that as she moves towards that end, the MDC alliance should also be wary of the intentions of that. But she has been the vice president to Morgan Tsvangirai for all the years we have known, so she would work well with Nelson Chamisa. Forget about the few years that they've not talked together. And Senator Khaliphani Phugeni is a Christian and a very nice man, and I know that he would do well to work with the MDC alliance. And as for me as an analyst, talking about the real opposition, I would like these real fighters of this struggle to really join together, join hands, and fight the democratic struggle against the current regime. And Gambakwe, please, you have to understand Senator Phugeni when he clearly distances himself from this. He is a politician and he has to say the things that he's saying. Thank you.
Okay, I think, Doctor and Senator, I'm happy with the discussion we've had so far, and I've tried to invite Ndando here, and unfortunately, he's unavailable to talk, because he's right now live on another channel. So what I would like to do is, I want us to wrap it up with Senator Khaliphani Phugeni.
Maybe before we wrap it up, I need to say thank you, Doc. No, thank you. With me, you can say anything, really. I have thick enough skin to hang anything. And your analysis, brilliant. You're one of the most decent human beings this side of the planet. So nothing which you said offended me at all. I just need to clarify the last point. I hope when you are saying I distance myself from this, you're not saying I distance myself from Dr. Kope. Never. It can never happen.
No. Sorry. Not distancing yourself from Dr. Kope. I'm saying distancing yourself from what Gambakwe was saying, that you are more aligned to the MDC alliance.
Oh, okay. Lovely. Now, I also need to say this, by the way. You see, a lot is made out of nothing in most of the cases. You would have seen me 2-3 weeks ago when I was in Chocholo. I was with the Honorable Monzora there, and we meet at the Senate, we meet everywhere. And most of the things that people say really are not there, they don't exist. Even after the leaked audio, if you don't know, I went to his house and I had tea there in his house immediately after the leaked audio. So some of these things are just hyped, and I understand the media want the clicks and whatever. This morning, I heard, because I'm in Bulawayo, there was a ZI training which had the Alliance folks. I was very, very happy to meet a lot of my former comrades, extremely happy. And guess what? This evening, immediately when the Alliance leaves, is the MDC-T. And I'm also happy to meet my MDC-T comrades. So it's not as hostile as people think it is out there. It's not necessarily that hostile. Now, remember, at the height of what people thought were these fights, I would bump into MDCA comrades and would enjoy. I mean, the young man which NC has promoted, and I'm quite happy for him, Ostolas, a very, very decent young man, full of energy, lovely. But when he's doing his job, he has to say some of the things he says about us. He is doing his job. But outside his job, which I think is the same with most of those people, Chibaya and all those people. When we meet out there, no, we are not at the podium. At the podium, people are doing their jobs, carry on their jobs, nothing personal. You should know this better, Kambakwe. In South Africa, Julius Malema, who's a very close friend of Mzwandile Masina, the former Ekurulen mayor. But his party voted Mzwandile out of the mayorship, but their friendship is not affected. So it's, hey, the President Biden said politics doesn't have to be a bowl of fire, a bowl of raging fire. No, we can view things differently, but it really doesn't have to get to the levels that people push them to. Doesn't have to be personal. Come on. If we are fighting for bettering people's lives, surely why are we destroying certain lives in the process? Because we should be bettering everyone's life. So to the extent that Kambako, you are better off than me in what you are doing, which of course you are in this thing, why should I be fighting you? I've spoken to so many.
Senator, I think I need to come in.
Come in.
Okay.
The problem
before
is
before you come in, Gambakwe, I think I really want to commend what the senator is saying. And one thing I take off from how he talks is there is always a hardline stance and a moderate stance. I am quite impressed with the sort of moderate stance that Senator Phugeni takes.
No, but I'm not, Doctor. I'm not impressed. Let me tell you why.
No, wait.
Senator Phugeni is refusing to have a values discussion.
Wait, Gambakwe.
Yes.
Wait, Gambakwe. In politics, sometimes it's not as you see it. But these politicians, I would tell you that they know, like I've always said, in the background, there is a lot of traffic that is happening there. And you can never know because we are not there. But what you can derive from there is the kind of talk. Like I said, Senator Phugeni is a moderate, if I will tell you. The fact that he has continued even to appear on your platform, even sometimes when you could see that he is irritated or he is not impressed, is because there is that thing in him which can reach out. There are hardline comrades out there who would not even give you a chance, and who would not even listen to your line of commentary. But for Senator Phugeni, and for the person he always speaks you know, on behalf of, I think from my point of view, I appreciate the moderate kind of talk, because it is the genesis, if not already a transition to the unifying of, you know, former comrades, former forces, whether it is because Dr. Khupe is going to be recalled from MDC-T to MDC Alliance. But that's what you want to see. There's always have to be a beginning, you know, and so I like the kind of camaraderie, the kind of diplomacy that Senator Phugeni shows, and we will see it play out. Time will tell, and he will be vindicated, by the way, and I think it's a plus for the politics in Zimbabwe, particularly if we see the former comrades coming together and fight the same struggle together. You can come in, Gambako.
Okay, so Doc, I hear what you're saying.
Gambako,
and Senator,
before you come in, you remove the H after the P in Dr. Khupe's surname.
Okay. Unfortunately, what has happened is I've run out of battery. I'm sure you can see that I'm using my hands here. Okay. I've run out of battery on my laptop, and I'm having to use my own hands to do this. So apologies about that. And what I would like to do is I want to tell you what my problem with the MDC is. The whole MDC Alliance, MDC-T, and the leaders. They don't want to engage at the level of values. So when Chamisa and his people were being recalled, they waited until they were recalled. And those who were recalled went, and those who were not recalled stayed. No one said, as a group, we're all going to get out of MDC-T. And I made this comment during the time when this happened. This is what is happening again. If Dr. Khupe is recalled tomorrow when the standing committee sits, I can guarantee you that Senator Khaliphani Phugeni is not going to walk out of MDC-T. That is my problem with right now with Senator Khaliphani Phugeni. I don't think you're making a decision, or you're making your decisions based on values. You don't agree with what is happening in the MDC-T. You shouldn't be there. You should be leaving.
Senator Phugeni, before you come in, Senator Phugeni, sorry to cut you through. I think I already answered that question when I said in politics, there are no permanent friends. There are no permanent enemies. There are only permanent interests. You understand? If we are to expand that discussion, listen, in politics, you don't talk of values. That is the nature or the beast that we call politics. And Senator Phugeni would know that. So don't bring in values, because values in politics have always been a utopia. It's a utopian, it's an ideal. It's non-existent. So they have interests that are there. And one is, now we have to interrogate what kind of interests are there. Is it the interests of positioning yourself? Are they interests of who has the better policies? Are they, various interests? So that question doesn't arise, Gambako, but I would let the senator answer. But for me, that's where it lies.
Right. Let me take you into a secret conversation which you would have not known at all. So on Friday, I get a call from Blessed Mhlang. And he says, Senator, I have a letter from the lawyers here, but I just want to be sure before I put it public that indeed it's from Dr. Khupe. So he sends it to me. I see it for the first time. I had never heard or seen anything. If you were observant, you realize that I've been out of circulation for about 3 weeks. I had a family member was involved in that terrible accident, as you know, and many other things. So I was completely out of circulation. So I pick up the phone and I call Madam President. There is a letter here from the lawyers. Is it from you? And she says, yes. And I say, okay, let me confirm to the journalists. Then I confirm to the journalists. And then it turns out later, now I'm having a conversation with somebody. Now, this was yesterday. And this person says, it was clear that you had a lot in your plate to deal with. And you were deliberately left out so that you don't have a lot of things to juggle. And you will see that even right now, people to communicate and everything. The point I'm trying to impress upon you is Dr. Khupe is not that type of a leader who sacrifices her sheep. She's that type of a leader who will lay down her life for her sheep. I'm made to understand that a lot of people wanted to do this on her behalf, and she said, no, I believe in this very, very strongly, and I should be the one up front there seen. I shouldn't have a secret hand in front of me there. Now, your question was, if Dr. Khupe was treated unfairly tomorrow, will I stay or will I go? I can tell you now that I am completely guided by what she thinks will be in good solidarity with her. I am completely guided by that. Do not fright or think otherwise. I'm not that selfish. So even in 2018, we knew exactly what would be the outcome of that election, but it was important to show solidarity. Now, the young man Tando contacts me and wants to find out what help can I give him. And this is what I said to him. I said to him, the biggest asset you have is that the principal is an honest person, a person of integrity. So you are not going to wake up tomorrow apologizing or trying to withdraw something. And I said to him, when you communicate, make it a point that you don't lie to the people of Zimbabwe. I said to them, don't lie. Always tell them the truth with dignity and humility. So when I read the text or the tweet from Honorable Muliso, I said, so I'm not the only one who sees this. And I said, that's your biggest asset. She's not going to lie. She's not selfish. She's not acting in self-interest. So your job has been made easy because you are communicating someone with integrity, someone who is respected across board, someone who will not embarrass you tomorrow. But the most important thing is don't spin things. Be honest with the people of Zimbabwe. Tell them the truth always. Here's another thing that you probably do not know. I have never received a single cent towards any of my communications job I've done. For the smaller part of the MTC and even the bigger part of the MTC. I've never. You will never go anywhere and you find that this is money for data or this is money for what. I didn't have a single staff. I was the only staff, never got a cell phone, never got a tablet, never got a laptop. I've always used my own things, my own airtime, my own everything. But because of the honesty part of it, God made sure that our work succeeds. So I told him, just be an honest person. Don't worry about most of the things. God will make sure that you do well. So no, Kambakwe, I know that people are selfish, but I am completely at her disposal. Whichever way she thinks will be good solidarity will show. But I don't think we're there in any event. I think it's just hype. I don't think we're going to get there. I think cool heads will prevail. And I shudder to think that we'll get there. I don't see anyone wishing that situation.
Okay, Senator, let me give you a secret. You've given me lots of secrets. According to my sources, you are going to be replaced by somebody very, very soon. The decision has been made. How would you take it if that happens?
But I told you at the beginning of the show, I don't even want to entertain this, excuse me, not because of fear or disappointment or whatsoever. You know me before I was a senator, and I do not disgrace my God and try and pretend as if life is only in the Senate. That would be a disgrace to God. I'm here to save, and I think I have done my best. If it's sanctioned in heaven, that is enough. It's okay. Why should I worry?
But
Why
the
should
people
I?
need you. The people in Machiavelli need you. You have said it so many times. Would you, if you were recalled tomorrow after the standing committee, would you join the MDC Alliance to continue the good work you're doing?
Well, I don't know why it has to be binary. It doesn't have necessarily to be binary, either or. I'm doing my job. I'm carrying on with my job. And by my job, I don't mean that this thing which is dependent on being recalled or not being recalled. But there is one point that you are missing, and I don't know why this conversation is not happening or is not being factored in. When you read the filing that was done by Dr. Khupe, I think you see a lot there in reference to what the Supreme Court said. Every Zimbabwean has constitutional provisions and protections. And I don't know why you think that it's good for anyone Zimbabwean to have their constitutional rights willy-nilly violated like that.
I think that would be a conversation for another day, Senator, because I think it will be a long one for us. This case has already gone to court, and the MDC Alliance lost on the very arguments that Dr. Kope is making. And I don't think she's got much chance there.
Well, no, honestly speaking, I differ because, like I told you, the alliance had made, the people were recalled and it made public statements that they no longer belong to MDC-T, they now belong to the MDC Alliance. Right. Now, remember, Dr. Khupe was exonerated by the Supreme Court that her dismissal was illegal and therefore null and void. That's what the Supreme Court said. So I'm not sure that you can wake up today and do the same thing and then the court come to a different finding. I don't think so. If that were to happen, then you know it's no longer law. Then you know it's no longer law.
Right. I think what we need to do is I've asked Ntando here to join me sometime this week. The urgent court application is probably going to be heard anytime this week. The standing committee is going to sit tomorrow, according to people that I talked to in the MDC-T. So I think let's give this a day, and then we'll come back again with if there's anything new. On Saturday, you join me every Saturday, Senator. Then we'll talk again about this. Let's close because we're almost 20 minutes past our time. Is there anything else you want to say, Doctor, before we close?
Okay, thank you very much, Gambakwe. One thing I can say is that I think we are again at a cusp. In Zimbabwe, I've always known that political events are preceded by such kind of news reports. And as we always say, there is no smoke without fire. And I think what we are seeing is, if you like, I don't want to say it's the beginning of an implosion, but it's a continuation of an implosion, which was palpable within the MDC-T, like I said, because it was always a meeting of convenience, to prove a point. And I should also hasten to say that I think the MDC Alliance has done a good job in mobilizing. And in their recent outings, in their recent Meet the People gatherings, they have shown that they have quite a better chance at challenging ZANU-PF. And therefore, for me, they stand a chance. And therefore, the reactions we are beginning to see in the MDC-T, I think they are going to precede a huge implosion that we are going to see. And I'm seeing Dr. Khupe, the Senator Phugeni and others joining the bigger tent, and we can have a one probably better and a stronger front which is going to challenge ZANU-PF at the election in 2023. And time will tell.
Okay, Doctor, I really enjoy your conclusion, and I'm sure all of you had Senator Phugeni's phone going out of battery, and unfortunately we have lost him, and he's not going to come back because he doesn't have a battery anymore. And as I said, this is going to be very, very interesting. We have reached a point in the opposition that has never been reached, and I agree with you, Dr. Mteneri. Something is just about to happen, and something very, very big. And if I was Senator Douglas Monzora, I would never let this point pass without making a very, very important decision. I don't think the relationship can continue anymore. If I was him, this is the point I would just stick to my guns and let everything happen.
And again, Gambakwe, you remember that this is a test on Monzora's so-called, which I thought was hot air of that politics, which he says he calls it a politics of rational disputation, no rancor and stuff like that. I think it's a test. What he's going to meet now, from what we see, and we are yet to look into the events, is that once his party and towards 2023 start to implode, that rancor can't be avoided, that he's going to face exactly what he did to Nelson Chamisa during the lockdown judgment, that this is going to come and bite him. But one thing probably that the MDC alliance should also be advised is that this is the time to open your hands, embrace, because what Zimbabwe needs towards 2023 is a united front, is a united opposition. I know there are many misgivings. As I speak, I know there are many MDC alliance cadres who would say, no, why should we allow Khupe inside? But that is what is important. Unity, tolerance, and I think the MDC is moving towards that. And as Nelson Chamisa would always say, God is in it. This is probably one way that he works, most probably, that things are going to work themselves, but it is up to them as a party, up to them as cadres to see how they can accommodate these erstwhile comrades and make sure that they now build a formidable force in which they embrace all the aspects, all the sectors of our society, and challenge ZANU-PF strongly at the election. So let's see how it pans out. But I can tell you that this is the beginning of the implosion of MDC-T, the beginning of the very dangerous actions, which will see the MDC-T probably being left with Harvest House, but no people, and being left with a few months of in Parliament, and after that nothing. And I think it will be good for the opposition.
Okay, I think we are underestimating Senator Douglas Monzora. He's a very, very smart man, and I don't think there's going to be an implosion. Doctor, you come here to see me every week on Tuesdays, and I'm sure in a year we'll have this conversation again. The biggest problem that we have is that Chamisa's people, they will never think at the level that you're thinking. They are not going to allow Dr. Kope in. I can assure you that they will block her. They will find a reason to. They've got an open goal right now to get Dr. Kope, to get Senator Phugeni, to get all these other people that are being recalled. But they will never do it. They will never get a chance to approach them and form a unity. because they just are not capable of uniting with other people. That is just the nature of the MDC alliance. Imagine if they can chase a guy like me from their press conference.
Wait there. Let me hold you there.
Yeah.
I think also there is a tendency to underestimate the goodwill that is in the MDC-T. I mean, in the MDC alliance, sorry. There is, I think, don't over-exaggerate that. Obviously, within a party, there are those who will take a radical position. But Nelson Chamisa, over the years, even after the separation with Khupe, he has made efforts. He even traveled to Bulawayo on one rally where he said, you know, he tried to reach out to her. And I don't think that was just a one-time thing. And actually, it would be a sad development for the MDC alliance if, through the president or the leadership, they fail to embrace Madam Khupe today. Because I think Madam Khupe, by now, whatever her political ambitions are, she has realized that she had taken a wrong, she took a whole wrong strategy. And I'm sure the MDC has that capacity. They've got that capacity. Let me tell you, I think most Zimbabweans, and MDC alliance in particular, they are tired of divisions, and unity is something that drives everybody, because without that unity, it would be difficult to defeat ZANU-PF at the polls. ZANU-PF is already a divided party, remember. ZANU-PF is split in, already we have got that G40, which is out. Remember, G40 used to fill those stadiums. And if you think they are the ones you see in the stadiums today, you are wrong. That is a constituency which is looking for a home. And if MDC cannot take them, MDC Alliance cannot take them, who will take them? In the MDC-T, there is that obviously smaller part of the people who still want a home, but who just are confused if MDC Alliance cannot embrace them. Then they are failing Morgan Tsvangirai's philosophy of a big tent. So I challenge Nelson Chamisa today that, in fact, if he had already started talking to Dr. Khupe, that's a plus for him. But whatever happens, let them embrace her. She is the founding figure of that party, and all what the MDC Alliance supporters want is the unity of the MDC, the bigger party, and challenge ZANU-PF at an election as a united front. And there is a huge chance for that, for that victory. And that's why.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Doc. I'm very sorry.
Don't question me now. Let's close the program.
Yeah. Yes. Thank you very much, Doctor. And I will see you again next week on Tuesday.
Thank you.
And to everyone who's watching, good night.
Yeah, thank you very much. Good night.
Kuno abo bano mama wanna get it nice. I know food I me so, I know food I tebe, I know kaya mari. Kama kwetu tikom, kwetu tikom usasai.
Kamba kwe uyo anotara mari anogaya mari garai mamunzwa paninyaya pano zvamunoda kunzwa zvinotaurwa pano madiko kumunzwa mugova ne.com. Kamba kwe vanogaya mari vanotaura mari vanoziya mari. Kamba kwe vanotaura feya kuti pamberi zvichafamba sei. Vanhu terere zvikubatsirei mukufamba kwenyu zvikubatsirei. Mirai ndikudze kuti chokwadi pano chizere. Kamba kwe vanogaya cash vanopa mafacts vanotaura straight vane evidence vane confidence plus intelligence.
Entertainment, current affairs and news. kamba kwetu tikomu usasarire kamba kwe anukaya mari